All right, so welcome to another episode of Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Aphrodite.
And I'm Emmanuel.
All right, so this week we're going to talk about being open-minded. Why is it so hard to be open-minded when it comes to trying new things, right? So just first swing at that particular topic, like trying new things is difficult for some. It is. And honestly, it's not that bad to try new things, to want to venture out and explore and be curious about certain things. And I'm saying this, and the next part of this is going to be a conflicting statement. It is, right? Because to a small degree, I think I'm like that when it comes to and it's just one thing, like ice cream in general, okay? Like, I like vanilla, but when it comes to chocolate and strawberry and any other flavor of ice cream, I won't even try it because I just like vanilla. Okay. I don't know why I'm like that, right? But it's just like this one kind is where I'm stuck at. Okay. I'm just stuck right there. Okay. And honestly, that is me not being open-minded. Yeah, I get that, right? But sometimes I think you just like what you like, right? Like you find that one thing that you like and you just stuck on it. Like it's just a person just kind of gets stuck on that. And I think as an individual, I think that's okay as an individual, but it's sometimes when you get into a relationship situation, it becomes a little bit more complicated because you might have that person that you with, they like, strawberry ice cream, they like chocolate ice cream, they like all this other kind of ice cream, and they gonna want you to try this ice cream and stuff like that. It's like, okay, give me some, give me a little bit. Okay, even though I don't want this ice cream, I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna taste it anyway. But again, that's the compromise piece. But again, I think that the whole premise of being open-minded thing has to be something that you want. It can't be something that's forced on you. You know what I'm saying? But what you guys think?
I believe being open-minded and, the difficulty of being there could be a trusting not yourself to know it, depending on what you're trying, is going to, work out for you. Or you might, just undecided, you really don't know if it's going to work out for you. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes trying new things can be scary. So, getting over that fear of what it is, or trying new things. Because especially when you tell somebody or y'all speaking about it and people might speak negative, yeah, it can pull you back from trying new things as well.
Yeah. Because
they experience somehow might impact your decision.
Yeah.
So that can cause a difficulty of trying new things. Or even when you're in a relationship with your partner and they speaking on you trying new things, but you might not trust them like that. They'd be like, I don't know if I want to try that with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think trust is definitely a factor a lot of times. I also think that a lot of times when you have the opportunity to be open-minded, it is not expected. It's normally unexpected. I wouldn't say it's forced on you, but you weren't prepared for it. So a lot of times you've got to just have a certain mind state when it comes to things that aren't what you're used to. And then kind of like what you were saying, Josh, with the vanilla flavor, and sometimes that's how I am too. And I think that's just a matter of having a comfort zone. It's just, This is what I like. I've had things I didn't like, but I like this. Okay. So I don't really want to venture away from this because there's a chance that I might not like it. Mm-hmm. And I think that idea is probably the biggest hurdle to people being open-minded. It's like, I've seen this and I didn't like this before in different ways. I found a way that I like this, and I want to stick to that way. You can apply that to anything. You can apply it to intimacy. You can apply that to, you know, your relationship, the things you like out of a person. You can apply that to food. You can apply it to anything. It's like, I've tasted this, I've seen this, I've done this, I like this, I didn't like that, I want to do what I like. And then you just close out all the alternatives. And yeah, that's where you get that closed-mindedness.
Yeah, because I apply to food a lot. Like, I be like, even when I go to new places, I be like, I stick to one thing that I know might knock a jack up. That's it.
Right. I don't want to deal with disappointment right now. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm just going to go with what I know.
Yes.
Hopefully y'all don't mess this up. It's hard to mess up. It's hard to mess up. Or if you get messed up, I know I can fix it with a little salt, a little pepper, you know. Yeah. I can save it. But yeah.
Yeah, food. I do that to food a whole lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's not like you go to one of those places, you just order either chicken wings or a burger. That's all you order. Those two things you can't mess up.
Hard to mess up.
The most of the time, it's either gonna be some wings or I might do a dip. Like, because to me, you can't hardly mess it up. You can mess it up, but it's hard to mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't want to be disappointed. And that's how it is with being open-minded. You just not want to be disappointed. And it might be a history of disappointment. You being open-minded every time, like, and it's been more disappointment than it has been, you know, okay, it turned out really great, you know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is kind of to reinforce what you guys are saying is like that fear. Because if you've been like scarred, like had a scarring thing from something that you tried that was new, right? And that experience was so traumatizing that you just don't want to go back there. Like you don't want to go back to that same thing anymore because that experience was so bad that, you know, it just kind of ruins the whole thing. And I think to me, especially from a relationship standpoint, I think two things could happen, right? So one thing it could happen from a communication standpoint, you can be scarred in a sense to where you tried something new from a communication standpoint, and then it just scarred you so much that you don't want to just try that, whatever that new thing is, but also from an intimacy standpoint where you've tried something new that was probably from an intimate side of it, and I don't want to say it probably scared you per se, but it was something that you probably wasn't into. That person, whoever you was with, probably was a little bit too excited, right? They came at you too hot with that. And then you was like, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. Okay? I'm not doing it.
That was moving too fast.
I mean, some people get too excited. I'm just trying to tell you, like, you can't come in hot like that on some people, but you can't.
That's true, because it really you have to consider your partner, and it almost feel like they being forced. Like, we don't understand that. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, when you come in like that and the other person just not ready. Like, they ready, but they really not ready. And it's like, I'm being forced to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that might not be the case, but that's how the partner feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You start be getting those cold sweat. Hey, you gotta look at the signs, okay? Like, when you know you coming in too hot, you start scratching their head and turning the other way. Like, hey, too hot. We're too hot right now, okay? Like, this is too much. We can't do this, okay? Trying to tell you.
That's what's going on in your head.
That's what's going on your face too, but it's probably dark and you can't see it. Like, that's just, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hey, sometimes people underrate the fact that your face says a lot. Like, it does. Your face can tell it all. Like, you ain't to be saying no words. There's a lot.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
The whole premise of like, I don't know. I think the whole premise of just being open-minded, especially about certain things. Do you think that you have to be more open-minded about some things more than others? Like, do you think that happens, that you have to be a little bit more open-minded about some certain things than other things, right?
I think.
What example would you say?
I get what you're saying.
So I would think and this is just me, I would think the analogy that I used earlier with the vanilla ice cream thing is something on the lighter side of being open-minded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus the extreme side of it, which is the intimacy side. That's the extreme side of being open-minded right there. So that's kind of what I was saying. Like, do you think that you have to be a little bit more lighter on the intimacy side versus being a little bit more, not really pushier on the vanilla ice cream side, but just a little bit more nudgier on that side? Like to get somebody to do that because it's such a small, well, not really a small thing, but it's something that's not as big, I guess. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think it's a certain. I think it depends on the sensitivity of the situation. Mm-hmm. So if the ice cream ain't sensitive, that's just, if you deny her strawberry, it is what it is. He just don't like that, But if it's something that is more personal to someone or something that is more sensitive, like a specific way to show affection that they have experienced before that they really like, and then they talk to you about, potentially showing them that affection that way, and you're just no, can't do that. No, that could create issues, right? So from that standpoint, it's a bit more of a pressure. It's a higher sensitivity to be more open-minded in that case, because of the person that's involved, and because of the sensitivity of the issue to them, something they really liked or something they really preferred or wanted to achieve a certain level of satisfaction or happiness. That's something that is going to be a bit more, it's going to be a bit more pressure filled or more sensitive for you to be more open to doing. So I think, there are circumstances like that. That's one. I think when it involves other people and it's things that are close to them or very important to them, that's when it actually really matters. That's when being open-minded becomes more important. If it's small things, it's not as important to them, then it can be, whatever. That's my thoughts on it.
I agree with Emmanuel because, especially, touching back what Emmanuel said, when, if it's something that your partner really likes and you so closed down, so you're not even open enough to even have a conversation about it, that partner that is very important to can start feeling neglected, and a lot of things can come out of them feeling neglected. So, and feeling like you just abandon them in that issue, or you're not willing to work it out with them, or just sometimes just a conversation alone can bring more understanding on how to be more open-minded about it, even if that time is not the right time to do it.
Yeah. So do you think that not being open-minded from a relationship standpoint is selfish?
Yeah. I think it could be selfish. Not all the time, but some of the time, yes.
Mm-hmm. I think it's definitely selfish. The thing is, why aren't you open? Like, if you really think about it, you're not open-minded to needs or wants of your partner, which means that you prioritize your needs above that.
Yeah. Which
means that is selfish behavior. It's A plus B, man. I'm an A plus B guy. so A plus B equals C. You're prioritizing yourself. So it's like, all right, I don't really like that. I don't want to hear about that. This is what I like. This is what I'm doing. So whatever that is over there that you want, I don't want to hear about it. So yeah, I think, you're not open-minded to the things that your partner wants. It's definitely selfish.
Yeah.
Definitely something, and that doesn't mean everything we do, but at least hear it out. At least try to accommodate it, even if it's not as frequently or if it's not as much. Show some level of want to. Because I think that's at the very minimum what they would want to see. Because I'm pretty sure whenever someone like that adds something of you, they probably know it's something you're not used to. Because otherwise you would have been doing it. So they understand that this is something different. Yeah. But I think at the very least they want to see some level of want to or openness. Like, oh, okay, all right. How does that work? Okay, what would you need from me? Whatever.
Right.
But I think the biggest component of sometimes why people may not be as open-minded as they should be is like sometimes it's fear. Like sometimes people are just afraid to be like more open when it comes to certain things, which sometimes don't really have a lot to do with the person that they're with. It has a lot to do with them as a person, like that thing. It has a lot to do with that. And I think that part right there is a little bit more, I guess, tricky to kind of navigate because it's like you may want to do a little bit more with that person and stuff like that. But whenever you get to a point where you try to address it with them, they may get that anxiety. They may get that pull. You may get that pullback where it's like, okay, I'm like freaking out about the fact that, we got to do something different. And I think that with that, I think it's important for people not to like really push a person, but really try to find out what would be the compromise. You know what I'm saying? Like what would be the difference between what they're feeling and then also how you can kind of support the relationship at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think most people do that.
Yeah.
As soon as you're not open, they don't want to hear nothing about it. it ain't why. It ain't. Sometimes they'll say why, but they almost like get defensive now.
Shut down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. You got to really be in tune to say, okay, this person doesn't want to do this. Let's talk about why, so I can understand. But a lot of times it doesn't get to that point unless it's been continually rejected, and then it would probably happen out of frustration. Like, why can't you never, or why won't you never? And then that person is now feeling attacked, so they may not express themselves like they would if it wasn't as, if it wasn't a more, subtle approach to the issue.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of where people make their mistakes sometimes. That sometimes, again, they come in too hot when it comes to some of the stuff that they want. I'm telling you, people gonna be out a lot, especially when you get really excited about something that you want to do, and you go to tell your partner about it, that, hey, I really want to do this. Like, I really want to try this with you, and you all excited. You've probably been thinking about it for a week, probably longer. You can come up to them and they're like, you know what? I don't want to do that. And then it's like, okay, now you're mad because you've been thinking about this for a week. You done brought it up, and you get that shutdown.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's why being open-minded is very important right there. It is. Because not being open-minded, I've seen a lot of people go from being totally happy to not being happy at all with that.
And
you can understand why, though. Because, at the end of the day, it's like I said earlier, it's neglect. Your needs not being met. That's a need for a person. At least I need you to be open-minded to hear me out. And to be receptive to what I'm saying. And if we can communicate efficiently and effectively like that, then we can work on, well, it may be for you, it may not be for you. You know, is what kind of compromise we can come to if there's a compromise. But you automatically shut me down and you just not open to it at all. That calls for a recipe of unhappiness.
Now, one thing I did think about when we were just talking about this is the person asking for the favor or whatever has also to be open-minded, right? So it's not just the burden is not just on the person that is being asked, but the asker also has to be open-minded to the fact that this request may not be well received.
Right.
And I think that if that's not in play, that could be a recipe for failure also, because you can't assume that every single thing you like or want, the other person is just going to be automatically willing, wanting, and ready to do. So I think that if that person is not open-minded to that, to the idea that there's a chance that your partner may not want to, then it's going to be hard to operate in that light as well.
That's true.
So yeah, I think both people definitely have to be open-minded to varying, aspects of the situation.
That's true.
Yeah.
So would you say if a person is not as open-minded as they should be, would you say that it is fair for you to go and do these activities with others, like friends or something like that? Because I've heard that a lot where, sometimes your partner don't want to do nothing, so you take your girlfriends or somebody else to do that thing that you can't do with that person or whatever the case may be. Do you think that that's fair?
I think it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is.
It depends on what it is.
It's fair, right?
It depends on the activity.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on the activity. It depends on whether or not y'all have had a conversation about you going elsewhere to do it. Yeah. Because you can't.
So you think we have to have a conversation about it?
Depending on what it is. Yes.
Okay. I respect that.
Depending on what it is that you are looking to do elsewhere, oh yeah, definitely need to have a conversation. So I think that's the biggest thing is just that before you do something elsewhere that your partner has not, agreed to do, I think that y'all should talk about that happening. I really do. I think, because either way, the partner is going to feel some kind of way if it happened and they didn't know. I mean, it could honestly, not the simplest thing like ice cream flavors, but like anything that's half worthwhile, I would assume the partner going to feel a bit away if you go and do that with somebody else. So,
yeah, they would.
Especially if you have fun.
Right? Yeah.
But the thing about it is, if it was discussed and you weren't open enough to do it, and your partner, that's something they really wanted to do. Now, it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna say out the blue, you want to skydive, right?
Okay.
And your partner shut it down from the jump. When you had this conversation, shut it down. They weren't open to it. They didn't want to hear it, right?
Right.
But, you went to your friend and they was down for it. Y'all planned it. Y'all did it. And you came back and started talking about it. And of course they feel some type of way, but it's like, I gave you the opportunity of the chance for us to have that moment in that time together, but you said no.
And yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think nobody's going to be mad. They're like, I didn't want to go. I really didn't want to do that. I'm happy you were able to do that with some people who I'm hoping I know these friends. Hopefully they are same-sex friends. But if it's opposite sex, then now that's a different conversation. Okay, it's a different conversation. But assuming they're same,
why?
Well, if you got an opposite sex friend, I need to definitely know about him.
Okay. I agree with that.
Assuming I don't know about him.
Okay.
That's a problem. That's not like a first date. That's not like a first date to me.
I do.
Stop being open-minded with me about it. Like I was trying to have this conversation.
That sound like a meat. That sound like a meat breed.
Skydiving with. We need to find some other folks to go skydiving with.
I'm just teasing.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Okay.
You can go skydiving with the instructor, okay? Like, jump out of the plane with him, okay?
There you go. There you go. Okay. I'm just saying, don't try and get slick with me. So yeah, that's my thing. Is like, if I don't want to do it, that's cool. If you're gonna do it with someone else, I would just like to know about it. Like I said, of course we're together. You know, even if it's your girls, you know, that's cool. You know, I'm not gonna have no problem with that. But I would just like to know, because then that also tells me something else. It tells me just how badly you want to do it. Sometimes people have these things they want to do, but it's not always expressed how badly they want them. You know, you don't always know exactly. They don't always communicate that part. They might just ask you, or they might ask you the same about everything, but you can't tell which one is the one that was really just grinding their gears until they take an action like that. It's like, all right, you don't want to do it? Okay, well, I'm doing it with somebody else. But some things, some folks might just be like, okay, he didn't want to do it. All right, I guess I just ain't gonna be doing it. We do something else. But then other things, folks like, I'm doing this. Okay, so
right.
If you're not doing it, that's fine, but I'm doing this. And then that's sometimes that action will help the partner understand, all right, this is something that was really close to this person. Maybe I could be more open-minded about it. Maybe, you know, I could make myself uncomfortable for their comfort in this case, whatever that looks like. And I think that's a big part of that conversation piece before you go and do it with somebody else. Because it gives you that last chance to say, all right, let me just do it. All right, you know? But
even with that attitude, it's an automatic turn off. And it's an automatic, I'm good. You ain't even got to do it. Right. I'm good. I'll do it by myself. Like, it will be that automatic reaction.
Well, I wouldn't. Please, guys, don't do it like that. I don't mask things a lot, but you know, when it in your brain, you're gonna be thinking that. But outwardly, you know, you just tell her, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how serious this was to you. You know what? I can do this with you. You know, and just let me know when you want to do it. You know, and then there you go. I'm sure she would rather do it with you because she asked you first. You know, or he, you know, whatever it is. You know, it's that helps the relationship because your partner knows that's not something that you really are comfortable with, or really, they know that when they ask you. So to see that you're going to do it, that's going to give you some points. You know, that's going to give you some points.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was always curious about that. I was going to do certain activities with friends versus doing it like certain activities with your partner, because sometimes I don't know. Sometimes in just random situations, the person that you with still gets mad because you went to do the same thing that they turned down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when it gets real kind of confusing right there. When the person gets mad because you went and did it, had fun, you done took pictures, all this kind of stuff. But when you come back, they not talking to you, okay? Because you done went out there and did this thing that they turned down, right? Like, it wasn't the fact that you didn't give them the first offer. It wasn't the fact that you didn't tell them. It wasn't the fact that you didn't draw them a map. It wasn't the fact that you didn't pull up the website. It wasn't the fact that you went on the phone with them when you was talking to them on the phone. They just turned it down, just like, hey, I don't want to do it. But they mad. So it's like, that's when it gets confusing.
Yeah, folks don't like to not be included, especially if you had fun. So if you had fun and it wasn't with me, I'm mad. I'm big mad.
But that's the thing, though. You got the first invitation.
Right.
Like that thing was wrapped up, presented to you and stuff like that. Like,
you can't have fun if it ain't with me. Okay.
Hey,
And you better come home and be like, it was all right. You know, it was straight.
You know, Miss Petty over here, baby, take all kind of pictures, videos, and post them and everything. That's what Miss Petty do.
Then they gonna say you was trying to rub it in.
Oh, I was.
Say, you know, oh yeah, so you on broadcast. You know, hey, I'm just saying, man. That's what happened.
Yeah, that will be those will be the instances where you go do the thing that you said you was gonna do. Then after that, you go to some type of lounge or stuff like that. And
exactly.
You start taking pictures and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Folks, you ain't even gotta do nothing extra. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, this looks like you're having too much fun at that skydiving place.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
it's over with.
I'm your life. I tell you.
It's tough out here, man. That's another issue within itself. But yeah, that's what happened.
That's why you gotta have a balance with being open-minded. You can't just shut stuff down.
Right. Like I said, because you don't know what that thing is that person is gonna do, no matter what. Now that could be with you or without you, but I'm gonna do this.
And that is so true.
That's real.
That is so true. Mm-hmm. And I think I think a lot of times, especially in relationships, like people forget, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if it's forgetting or they get so comfortable with be saying no, or I don't feel like doing it, or I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? They get so comfortable with it that they really hadn't thought about their partner in the mix. So when the partner really start doing these things outside of them, you know, it becomes like, I can't believe you did that without me. No, because then they start reminding you, like, I asked you, could we do this? And I asked you, could we do that? And every time you turn around, you don't want to be open-minded, you want to shut it down, and we can't have a conversation about it. You know, it becomes an issue.
Yeah, folks start thinking that you ain't gonna do nothing if they ain't there. And
that's right.
That's complacency.
And then, you know, that becomes showing better than you could tell them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna show you.
Yeah.
Because we don't have this conversation, but I'm just gonna show you at this point.
Yeah. And all you had to do was be open-minded.
That's it.
Just go on out to bite the bullet and go on skydive. You know, you might have been doing a little yelling. She might laugh at you. You might have been scared, you know. But, you know, hey, that's better than having FOMO. You know, you don't know what she was out there doing, with who, when, what they did, how they did it. Mad because she had a good time without you. Like, all of that ain't worth it.
Hey, some things people just need to go ahead and put they big person pants on and just be like, hey, I couldn't do it, but you can't get mad at that person if they go do it with somebody else. Like,
right. That's true.
That's the thing, because I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there's a good percentage of things that a person is obviously not comfortable with. Like, they're not gonna want to go do it with that person, depending on what it is, because obviously two people are different. Like, you have two different types of likes and things that you don't like. So it's like, there are ways to compromise between the stuff that you like and you don't like, especially from a relationship standpoint. But it's good to have friends. I can tell you that. Like, it's good to have people that, okay, if you can't find that common ground, you can at least still go do what you want to do. But on the other side of that, the person that could not do it, they just got to be okay with it. Like, you just got to be okay with it. Not judge the person because they didn't do it with you. That's the thing.
That's a good point you made too. Sometimes your partner might not have friends, and if it's something they really want to do, that could create issues in the relationship, because now they feel like they trapped, you know.
Yeah.
And that could lead to that could go south if they don't have no friends. You are their friend. You the person you the only person that I can be doing this stuff with, and sometimes not being open-minded, especially in those cases, can really, really damage the relationship.
Yeah,
but that's why I don't think it's
that's
great not to have friends. I think you need a friend.
That's a twofold thing, though, right? Because the fact that person ain't got no friends is not that person's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Because everybody has
fault, but it's the reality, though.
I know that that's the reality, but people like to turn that around. Like, just because
they do.
You ain't got no people to do that with, don't make that their issue.
Don't make that my issue.
You know what I'm saying?
Like your issue.
Like,
right.
And that go back to the asker being open-minded. Like we talked about earlier, the askers got to be open-minded, especially if they don't have no friends, to the fact that their partner can't be expected to do every single thing that they want to do. You know, it just kind of goes back to that, because sometimes that could be the pressure that partners put on their other partner if they don't have a big enough friend circle. They put all the pressure on their partner to do everything with them.
Yeah.
And then that's unfair to their partner.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That can be a very difficult situation. You know, that can be difficult. They ain't got no friends. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's tough. But I mean, in today's society, a lot of folks ain't got friends. It ain't as rare as we like to think. A lot of folks, they just rather stay to themselves, stay their family, their kids, their partner, and you know, that's real. People moving all over the place. Everybody from, you know, one place wasn't born there. They don't move there from somewhere else. So, I mean, you run into a lot of cases where people don't really have solid friends.
Yeah, you do.
That's true.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's hard to trust some people. Okay,
that's true.
Hard. It's very difficult. Okay, so why not trust the person that you're with, and you know,
and make them do everything with you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right, man.
Hey, that's what they signed up for right there. Okay, just do everything with me. Okay, everything. Okay,
nah, they ain't signed up for that. Not everything. No, that's a lot. That's not true.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that is
signed up for whatever I feel like making you sign up for. Okay, that's how it works. But I don't tell you until it come up.
See, there you go. You gotta spring it up on them. Okay, you gotta come in hot. That's what you gotta do. Okay, you gotta come in hot on them. Okay, so
that's a trap. That you never know what all you signed up for. You know, as it comes up.
That's true.
That's a trap. That's a trap.
That's true.
Yeah, it's kind of how things go when it comes to like being open-minded. But I think that I think the gist of everything that we've been talking about is that it is important to try to be as open-minded as possible when it comes to doing a huge percentage or a large percentage of things. And from a relationship standpoint, it's good to be open-minded.
Right.
Is that like the consensus?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I agree with
open-minded as the asker and the receiver. Asker, be open-minded to being told no, and receiver, be open-minded to doing things you might not have necessarily wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And try your best not to be mad when they go out and try to do that, whatever that activity is.
Find a new man. Find a new
Somebody else.
Hey, you didn't want to say it, but all right now.
Just say it, right? Like,
don't go out like that.
I'm just saying, as long as the invitation, the information was given to their partner firsthand, allowing them time to actually like think about it and consider it and see if they can work it in their schedule and stuff like that, and they finally at the end of that said no, then that obligation is completely released right there. You just released that obligation right there, okay?
Oh, man.
You released it.
Nah, that ain't released.
I'm telling you. Like, if you had gave a person the whole skit, right? The whole entire skit, right? And you told them, hey, I would love to do this with you, right? This is something I want to do. I would love to do with you. Can we go out there and try this right quick and stuff like that? And you look at the paperwork, you read the information, and you just think about it for like 3 days straight for it, just as an example, right? 3 days, right? And then at the end of that third day, you're like, you know what? I don't want to do this. So at that point, what are you expecting the person to do at that point, right? Because at the end of the day, they want to do it, right? It's something that they want to do. So this means that, are you expecting them not to do it because you don't want to do it? Or are you expecting them to go out there and just do whatever that activity is with someone else?
Some folks want to do everything. Okay. So the thing is, you don't really know how bad they want to do this until what I said, which is they tell you they're going to do it anyway with someone else. And I think at that point, if you get that thing and you don't buy into it and say, all right, I've been thinking about it and I want to go ahead and do this with you. I didn't realize how bad you wanted to do this. I see now something you really wanted to do. I'd rather be the one doing this with you. And I feel like if you get that, I'm gonna do this anyway, move, and you pass it, that's when you can say, all right. Because like I told you, people don't always know how bad somebody really want to do something.
Those people are serious. I would be honest with you. Those people are serious. Because you know what?
Always expressive about their drive to do stuff. It's not always as clearly expressed.
Okay, but this is the thing. From a relationship standpoint, if you're taking your time out of your day to put together a actual plan of something that you want to do, you serious as crap. Because you could have been
there every day.
No, but you could have been doing anything else in your whole entire day. But if you put together an actual conversation to have with another person about something that you want to do, you've been thinking about that for days. That hadn't been nothing that you just like on a whim, I just want to do that, or something like that. You've thought about whatever that activity was the whole entire time, and you was waiting for the right time to come up there and talk to whoever your partner, whatever it is, about that, so that you can see if they want to do this activity with you, right? So that's not the fact that they don't need any additional push to actually do it. People should respect the fact that that person came to them first. It actually sat down with them and tried to get them to actually do it first. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing.
What I'm saying is some folks do this regularly. The circumstance you described, it sounds like, the
way that it should go.
One time this month, for the first time this month, my spouse came up to me and told me about this thing that she wanted to do or he wanted to do. Some folks get stuff regularly. Like, hey babe, I wanna go to the and then the next day, I've been thinking we could go to and then like that stuff be coming. So you might not always know, all right, this the thing that she really, really wanna do. Or this the thing that he really wanna do. And then you don't know that until, bam, you get that notification. I'm not saying that means you're not in tune, none of that. But sometimes you don't really know how bad until you get that push to say that second time, like, all right, I'm thinking about doing this with who and so. I really want to do this, so, whatever, X, Y, and Z. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Everybody, you can't always call it. Now, if you got a partner who very rarely ever talks about doing something, and then they come up to you one day and they, like you saying, they got a plan, all of that, it's real, because this don't happen regularly.
Yeah, that's uncommon.
Yeah, so like, okay, all right. She ain't asked me to do nothing in months. Now she talking about this. Now, you know this real. Okay, so like, all right, I believe one and done is acceptable for that. Okay, one and done is acceptable. You need to be on go. Okay, you need to be on go because it's not regular. If you go months without being asked to do anything off rip, that's a good woman in first place. She she okay. She ain't high maintenance. She ain't always jumping around. That's good. Well, just go do it, man. Just go do it. Okay. But, you know, I just think situationally, sometimes you need that second push if it's somebody who's regularly, some people are more on the go. Mm-hmm. You know, you might need that second push to know that it's like the real deal. Yeah. You know, that's it.
Any final thoughts after that?
I think y'all handle that. I mean, you know, I think because I am who I am, you can be open. You have to be open. It needs to be a balance. You know, I wouldn't expect my partner to want to do everything. I think that's selfish on the other person if you think they should be doing everything with you or whatever, because you're not considering them in the mix. You know what I'm saying? But also don't allow it to lead to the partner feeling neglected if it's done all the time.
Yeah. That's it. All right. So another episode of Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Aphrodite.
And I'm Emmanuel.
Keep eating vanilla ice cream.